I didn't kick her out, man. You got the story wrong, bitch.
You told me, bitch, to nasty.
No.
Who are you telling, bitch?
No.
Tell me. Let's keep the story straight. Let's keep the story straight, man.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Hey you Pootie Tooties, and welcome back to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé The Last Resort. This week is episode 17. And when I mean by this week, I mean like 2 weeks ago was episode 17. I am extremely behind, I'm sure, as you can see. But my sickness has gone away. It's good. Just a lot of things happened at once. I was just sick. And then also I had a whole bunch of life drama happening at the same time. So I was just down and out. I even thought about giving you guys like a little story time, a little drama detail, whatever. But you're not here for my drama. You're here for these other couples. So let's get right into it. In episode 16, Gino and Jasmine agreed to go ahead and call Matt after their therapy. And that's where they begin in this week's episode. So Jasmine's calling Matt, and of course he answers, and Gino is not okay with this at all. He is fighting the tears. But Jasmine goes on to explain to Matt everything that's going on, how they agreed to do it, and that they just need to come to some type of contract. And immediately Gino gets to grilling this guy.
Hi Matt. So how did you guys first meet?
At the gym.
Mm-hmm. So are you single now?
Yeah, I am, yes.
Have you ever had relationships in the past?
I've had quite a few, yeah, but I've never been married or anything.
But not only does Gino try to crack down on this safe schmex thing, he's like, if there's any kind of emotions between you guys gotta cut it off. You guys can never speak again. And Matt agrees to the whole thing, but then turns around and is basically like standing up for her like he's already the man. He's like, Jasmine's fragile and I care about her heart. You better treat her right, Gino. And Gino, of course, is not working with that. He's like, I am about to knock this dude out. How are you gonna talk to me about my wife? But he can already tell that they already have an emotional connection, so I don't know why he didn't just try to cut it off right there and then. But after everything, he just goes ahead and agrees to do it with them, and they ended on the most awkward way they possibly could have.
Jasmine, I'll see you when you get back to Michigan.
Okay. To work out.
No, to not work out.
Oh, to have.
Okie dokie. Jasmine, make sure you drink your water.
Now we get a look into Natalie and Josh, and of course they're in separate rooms. They just broke up. But Natalie is deciding to stay for the recommitment ceremony, and she's saying it's mostly for her. She wants to recommit to herself. And you know, I was like really proud of her during this whole thing. I swore she was gonna freak out, but she's holding her own and she's deciding to stay to the very end. But Josh is in the other room. He's immediately packing. He's trying to get out of there. And he himself was like, I'm surprised she didn't freak out. And you know, I'm kind of mad she didn't freak out. Did she not care about me?
But the response I got was a little awkward, and it was almost like she was relieved, which is a little hurtful because of like everything I actually have done for her.
He's basically hurt that she wasn't disrespectful at the end. But he says that he will miss her because she was just really different, very different. Now, for some reason, they all decide to go out drinking once again when they know every single time that happens, something bad happens, and they're literally about to hit their recommitment ceremony tomorrow. Something could pop off so much tonight that it could just completely change everybody's minds. Now, everybody's already at the bar drinking other than Jasmine and Gino and Natalie. Natalie doesn't even come, but Jasmine and Gino end up coming later. But before they get there, everybody is talking about their whole relationship dynamic now, the whole open thing. And the most vocal one out of all of them is Rob. Now, I understand Rob's and even Florian's point of view. Jasmine is just doing this so she can get her mans, and she is gonna end up skedaddling. But he was like so passionate about it, and I do not know why. I understand you want to hold it down for your dude, but he was mixing himself up in the cake batter a little too much. But Gino and Jasmine come in, and everybody's like, oh, here comes the trouble. And Florian's like, what took you guys so long? And Gino's over there like, oh, we were banging it out.
You lying? Yeah.
And of course, Gino is all jokes. He wasn't about to touch her with a 20-foot pole. But Gino goes on to explain to everybody the phone call that they just had with Matt. And he's like, I just wanted to see if he's the right person. And Rob turns around and he's like, he's not. keep searching. But Gino already, like I said, he did not like how Matt was speaking about him and Jasmine and their relationship, and he didn't like how big of a connection that they already had, and goes on to say that he doesn't like them being friends. How are you gonna have those intimate relationships without the friendship part? Unless you just want her to go out and like just be having one night stands all over the place, which means she gonna be doing it with multiple men. So if he wants her to just be locked down to one dude, they're gonna have to be friends. But Gino keeps explaining the whole situation, saying how uncomfortable he is, and Rob of course puts in his two-piece after everything Gino has to say, and Jasmine, you can tell she's in the back getting just irked and worked up. And this is where things start to spiral downhill, and I feel like Julia is the best person to start stirring the pot. She's like, Jasmine, don't you think you're gonna catch feelings for him? Are you not scared of that? And Jasmine's like, of course I feel that way. I mean, anything could happen, but that's why we have rules in place, so if I do catch feelings, I'm out of there. Girl, you already have the feelings. So Florian suggests, Gino, why don't you just fuck your wife?
Nope.
Can we stop trying to get him to do that? He don't want to do it, and he's never gonna do it. You guys asking him more and more is probably making him not want to do it even more on top of that. And Rob interjects himself again and is like, I don't believe you're not gonna catch feelings. I don't believe you don't already have feelings. And Gino's like, but she loves me. And you're not effing your wife, it's somebody else is. If she starts falling for a dude that's doing something for her that you're not doing, why wouldn't she just up and dip out on you? She gonna choose Matt. No, it's not like that. She loves me. I got this relationship under control.
And what gave you the confidence? Delusion?
No, my bad. I'm sorry.
And he goes on to suggest, hey, why don't you guys try to just find another guy? She obviously already has a connection with this dude, so why not you guys start fresh from the beginning, because you guys are starting fresh from the beginning, and go get a new dude. And then Stacy puts her words in. And honestly, if Stacy is saying something, you know it's true. Stacy is like, yeah, I think you should find another guy, because I can already tell from that phone call, Matt has feelings for you, and you have feelings for Matt. And Jasmine tries to be like, don't lie. And she's like, girl, yeah, you do. You don't lie. And Jasmine is trying to get out of this so bad. She's like, I'm not doing a random person. And Rob's like, don't let her play that shit. Do not let her do that to you, Gino. And Rob keeps pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and being like, just go find another dude. You guys are just starting. Start all over again. You know what I mean? And Gino, he finally is like, you know what? You're right. Matt's out. We're gonna get a whole new man to bang my wife.
You have been here being judgmental. And you are the first people crucifying me. Crucifying me. You all know everything. Everything.
Same time, 9 months, 9 months. If I can hold on to 9 months without needing somebody else, I think you could too.
You. Everybody.
And it's like, why are you getting so worked up over this dude? You breaking down like this is showing that, yeah, you definitely had something for Matt. And it's crazy because Gino tries to go out there and confront her, and she's like, hell no. When we get home, we're getting a divorce. And actually, you know what? I'm leaving right now. I'm going to Michigan tonight. So she's trying to dip out of there. And I'm like, all this over Matt? Obviously, you care about Matt more than you're leading on, because if it was just the schmexual part, you'd be like, you know what? That kind of sucks, but you know, I can find somebody else. So Gino goes back inside, and Rob is still going off, being like, he's not it, she already has a connection, yada yada yada, and then brings up how he hasn't been effing his wife. And Sophie just looks so embarrassed because he just keeps bringing it up. And the whole time Rob is just yelling and going off about the situation, Sophie is just sitting there like, ugh. And she even goes on to say that she was getting the ick from him. Like, she 100% agrees with the situation, but him going off the way he is just like, ugh, why you gotta be that hype about it? But literally right after that, Sophie herself is starting to get hype about the situation. So it's like, and Gino goes on to be like, Rob, thank you for having this conversation with me before I let Matt bang my wife. But Stacy, Julia, and Florian end up following Jasmine outside, and she's still going off being like, you guys are so judgmental, yada yada yada. But they just try to assure her, we're not judging you, it's just a really weird like situation. But Jasmine's not having it. She's breaking down, crying all over the place eventually till she's she's like, I'm just gonna leave. I'm getting in this car and I'm leaving. So she ends up just going back to the resort. And now this is where another blow up happens. Not too much of a blow up, but basically Florian comes in and puts in his 2-piece, and you know how Florian's a bit aggressive about things. So he comes in and asks Gino to just have schmecks with his wife for the billionth time.
Oh Lord. Again. A fucking again.
It turns into a whole crazy conversation, and it makes Gino get so offended.
You embarrassing her. But what the is happening with your brain, man?
You just want him his wife.
Yes! You are 56, okay?
I'm older than you.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so respect me.
You kicked her out for Christmas. You told me.
I didn't kick her out, man.
Yes!
You got the story wrong, bitch.
Bring ambulance.
Who are you telling, bitch?
No.
Tell me. Let's keep the story straight. Let's keep the story straight, man.
Let's keep it straight, guys.
Got your mouth.
Wait, hold on. Wait, guys.
You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna do shit.
But after they separate them, they just have conversations with each one of them. Rob is just telling Florian, listen, not everybody can just, bang it out and be happy. Not everybody is simple-minded as you are. While Brandon and Sophie are over there with Gino being like, he's just a meathead. It's okay. Don't listen to that guy. Just listen to your emotions. But they end up getting them back together. They hug it out. They're like, we're brothers, whatever, and they're over it. But Gino agrees after tonight. Everyone is right. And Matt is not it. He's not letting that happen. Now, the next day is the recommitment ceremony, and it seems like nobody is officially sure if they're gonna do it or not. Gino and Jasmine end up sleeping in completely different rooms, so they didn't even get to talk about what happened, so they're not even sure what each other are doing. Stacy and Florian are in their room, and Stacy's writing down her vows, being completely serious about it, but Florian is like, it's in my heart, Stacy. So she's upset that he's not taking this seriously. And then we get to Brandon and Julia, and they end up having a picnic, and they're still talking about the same thing, of course. He got his compromise with the second opinion for the baby, but she still wants to know if he's gonna help her with bringing her parents down. And he's still like, I don't think it's a good idea. Me and you are still trying to build our relationship. And apparently not only do her parents not have a great relationship, but she also doesn't have a great relationship with her parents, which doesn't make any sense to me why she's trying to bring them down. If all you guys are arguing all the goddamn time and then you're gonna have them live with you. But he's like, so what's the plan when they get down here? What is the plan? And she doesn't even have one. She's like, oh, I'm just gonna let life live and just let things happen. And he's like, you can't do that. But in her talking head, she says that she feels that he's punishing her because of all the secrets that she had, when in reality he's been saying no to the parents thing even before the retreat, and the secrets didn't come out until the retreat. So I think he's just thinking logically. But Brandon is like, we probably just need to hold off on that. And Julia's like, but they're my parents. And he says, maybe if you told me back when you first filed, we could probably work something out, but it's too far in. And she's like, yeah, exactly. So it's happening. I just want to know if you're gonna support me or not. And if not, well, then let's just not recommit. And she just gets up and leaves. Now we go to Rob, and he's by himself. He's outside writing his vows about Sophie. And he goes on to say that the whole situation has been bittersweet because for so long, Sophie has been gone. She hasn't been listening to him at all. But now that they're here, she's being extremely lovey-dovey. They're building this connection, and she's sitting here loving on him. But now it just feels a little too late. Now Gino goes over to Jasmine's room, and Jasmine just says how she wishes he would have came back so they could have had a talk. She needed comforting, and that she was so sure that they were going to recommit, but now she's not. And Gino is like, I will recommit to you as long as we take Matt out of the equation. We can look all over again. And Jasmine is like, no, it has to be Matt, because if we go and try to look for a new guy, you're never gonna follow through. We're just gonna keep looking for a new guy forever. So it's Matt or it's nothing. And he's like, well, based on what you said, it sounds like we may not recommit. And she just tries to assure him, I've always loved you. Now there is a part where the girls all end up getting together and getting ready for the ceremony, but not much happens there other than them getting dressed and getting drunk. Now the ceremony starts and all the dudes walk in first, and I swear Florian is always cracking them jokes. He is the funniest one.
You're cold. You don't have any socks on.
Mr. Michigan.
I come prepared.
He's come prepared for Jasmine, not touch him.
But they're all looking snazzy as hell. Other than Brandon, what the hell are you doing with the goddamn sweatpants on with the shirt and the, what is you doing? You didn't have any jeans? You could have put on some jeans or something? And finally, the girls come in and the therapists, of course, go through their whole speech thing, encouraging words, all, you guys are either gonna stay together or get divorced. Either way, we did our job. We got paid. The first people we get up is Stacy and Florian. And Florian, again, did not write his vows, so he just speaks from the heart. He goes on to thank the therapist and said before this, he did not believe in therapy. He thought this was just going to be a bunch of baloney, but they actually taught him some things that he's going to take on with him. And then just goes on to tell her that she's his priority and that he's sorry for everything that he's ever done to her and that he loves her. Then we go on to Stacy, and this one kind of had my heart pumping there for a little bit.
We are approaching our 10-year mark, and we definitely had our fair share of challenges. I'm getting older and wiser, and I know what I deserve. At times, a part of me feels it's time to let you go. You will always be in my heart. I'm sorry. Shit. But I'm not gonna leave you.
So yeah, they got me in the first half with that one. I thought she was ready to dip. Now Sophie and Rob are next, and this was incredibly awkward. But Sophie goes on to not write vows to Rob. She writes basically a letter to her younger and future self. She basically goes on to be like, oh, younger Sophie, you're beautiful, you're cool, you're tall, handsome, yada yada, hyping her younger self up. And then goes on to tell her future self, oh, you didn't meet the man of your dreams, but you did love him at some point, so that was cool. You had a couple of months that were pretty cool. Yeah, so I don't want to be with you anymore. But obviously she's bawling her eyes out right now. I know my tone is not matching up the face. And now it's Rob's turn, and he's like, you know what I wrote does not even matter. And she's like, well, can you please read it? I'm sure there was probably some stuff in there that's about to hype me up and, you know, make you look like a fool. But he's like, nah, I'm good. And right there and then he ends up just walking out. Now Brandon and Julia get up, and I don't think any of us thought they weren't gonna recommit. Obviously they did. But Julia ends up bringing her rock with the baby and the parents thing. She ends up throwing her baby rock because she compromised. She's like, so are you gonna compromise with the parent thing? And Brandon's like, hold on, give me a second, let me read my vows. So he ends up being like, you know what, you have drugged me through the dirt, you've cheated on me, you lied to me, all kinds of stuff, but all the happy moments are a lot better, you know? And I feel like we're strong enough, so yeah, I'm gonna help you with your parents. So they end up throwing that rock, and bada boom bada bing, they stay together. But while they're doing their stuff, Sophie herself ends up walking out, and now Sophie's in the lobby crying it out, and they're like, do you think he was gonna recommit to you? And she goes on to say, I hope he didn't, because that would make me feel a lot better if they both just decided not to. And then goes on to do the whole like, oh, the future me is gonna be so happy. Basically everything that she already said up there, that she's gonna be happy without him. Now they go over to Rob, and he's already taken his ring off, doing the dramatics, already packing his stuff. And he's like, you know, I was gonna try, I was gonna recommit if she wanted to. So the producers are like, can you read us your letter? And he decides he's only going to read like a little bit. Apparently dude wrote like 3 pages.
Though a lot of things have continued to push us apart, I could not deny what we have when we shut off the noise. If Sophie will move to Los Angeles with me, we will again have our time together, and it is worth it to me to see if we can continue to grow together instead of growing apart.
But at the end of all of it, he's like, at least she left me, because now I'm not gonna feel like, why did I let that girl grow down the line? Now, last but not least, Jasmine and Gino get up. I already had a feeling they were gonna recommit too, because they're just another crazy pair. Jasmine goes up there, she reads her vows. It's all like, love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice, and I'm always choosing you. Very like Valentine's card vibes. And Gino goes on to be like, you know, I'll love you for the end of days as long as you listen to me. And goes on to say some more lovey-dovey stuff. And Jasmine, she had to mess it up. I don't want to lose you, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make you happy. So I can fuck Matt? Like when we get home, I can fuck Matt? I guess. But if you catch emotional connection, you gotta cut it off.
Divorce.
And they kiss for the first time in 9 months. So that was pretty cool. And everybody's like, well, they're done. And finally the ceremony and this whole retreat is over, and they end it by getting drunk. And you know, Gino is about to get drunk. And at the very end, they all cheers for Natalie being single. And that was the end of this season. That was a bumpy ride. That was, there was a lot of potholes and different stuff on that road. We do get a tell-all for this season, which thank goodness. It would be crazy banana sauce if they did not give us a tell-all for this season with all the crazy couples that we had. I've already watched the first part and I'm gonna try to talk about it here in a second.
Hi, everyone. Surprise. No!
What?
Please, Jasmine.
What, Jasmine?
Okay, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. No.
Man, this season was so freaking good compared to the last season. This season makes me excited for the next season to come out. Which at the same time, that's like, you know what, never mind, because this season only comes around when people's marriages are failing, and I don't want that for people. That kind of sucks. But then again, these 90-day couples, half of them, they're not it. They're just not it. But I do promise I will be picking up the pace on these videos. I want to get them out as quickly as I possibly can for you guys. I'm sorry that I am so behind. I will catch up, I promise. And I also want to talk about that Poly Family show, so I really need to kick my butt into gear. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with me. I appreciate every single one of you guys, I truly do. As always, thank you guys for coming and watching. It's always appreciated. You guys have a beautiful day. Bye.